know why I'm memorizing the multiplication table? That's how I train my memory. If your memory's bad because it was trained properly, the following may happen to you.
Alibaba.
Once upon a time, there were two brothers in the Middle East, Kasym and Alibaba. Although it might seem kind of strange, the older brother inherited everything, the mill, the donkey, and even the cat. And the younger brother inherited nothing at all. Alibaba scratched the back of his head and said to himself, "My older brother is rich, but he will never give me a bite of halva or a sip of sherbet, so I need to come up with a plan." It took Alibaba a while, but finally, one day, he got a really genius idea. "I'll gather some firewood in the forest, sell it at the market, and use the money to buy myself a meat pie." So Alibaba went to the forest, walked around, picked up some sticks. Suddenly, he heard some whistling and strange stomping noise. Alibaba got scared and said, "I must have made some local genies mad." But these were no magic genies, just some ordinary thieves. There were 15 of them. They were carrying a treasure chest. And the captain of these scary pirates, the chief of these scary thieves, barked out, "Open, sesame!" Everything started to shake like there was an earthquake. And then the secret door of the cave opened up in the mountain. The thieves carried the treasure chest into the cave very fast so no one could see them. Well, that's what they thought, that no one could see them. But there was a reason that Alibaba was the best student. He saw it all and he heard it all. So as soon as the thieves left the cave, Alibaba came out of the bushes and said, "Open, sesame!" And that's how he ended up in the magic cave. There were all sorts of great things in there. In the first room, he found silver, gold, and heaps of precious stones. In the second room, he found all kinds of toys. Dolls with tea sets, bears on bags, humongous elephants, and even fluffy kitties. Alibaba played with the train set for a while before going into the third room. And it was full of such beautiful clothes. There were ball gowns, skirts of all lengths, t-shirts with sparkling rhinestones, and beautiful pink slippers. They had such cute flowers on the top and pretty beading all around. Alibaba decided to try on these slippers. Suddenly, the slippers raised him up in the air, and off he went flying. Alibaba shouted to the door, "Open, sesame!" He flew out of the cave, as happy as he can be. With slippers like these, I'll carry the firewood to the market in no time. Alibaba sold the firewood at the market and bought himself a meat pie. All of a sudden, his brother Kasym showed up. "How did you manage to buy a meat pie?" "Oh, lucky one, how did you get the money?" Alibaba had no choice but to tell his brother all about the forest and the secret treasure cave he'd found that belonged to the thieves, and to write the magic words on a sheet for his brother so he wouldn't forget them. Kasym ran up the secret door and read the sheet. "Open, sesame!" And he went in right away to get the treasures. Only in his haste, he dropped the sheet. He put so many of the thief's treasure in his bag, he could barely drag it to the exit. He caught his breath and said, "Bippity boppity boo. With these words, I will open you." Then Kasym knocked on it. The door still didn't open. Then Kasym banged on it with his head. Suddenly, the door opened up, and the chief of thieves was standing there. "Why are you trying to break my door, oh impatient one?" "I forget what they call those seeds they put on the top of hamburger buns." That's what Kasym told him. "Why is your memory so very poor?" asked the chief of thieves. "You must train it. I'm going to give you this book of fairy tales to memorize so you can tell them to me at bedtime. After you've told me every one of them, you can go home. Until then, oh greedy one, you'll stay here as my prisoner." So because of his stupidity, Kasym had to stay in the cave. I'm not sure for how long. They say he was there for 1,000 days and 1,001 nights. That's what I'm telling you. You won't have to depend on cheat sheets if you train your memory. It's not what you think. I'm not greedy at all. I'm fine with sharing my candy. But do you know what happened to the little tailor? Well, I'll tell you.
The valiant little tailor.
In a land far, far away, there lived a little tailor. He loved eating sweets like honey and jam, and it would attract flies that came from all over the kingdom. The little tailor did not chase off these flies, so these annoying insects came to believe that they were free to do anything they wanted. One night, they got into the refrigerator and gobbled up all the little chocolate glazed cream puffs. Well, no one could take this much suffering, so the little tailor grabbed the towel that was on the table and swung it at the flies with all his might. And these flies got up and left in a jiffy. The angry little tailor put a chain around the fridge and locked it. And then he wrote a scary warning in the front of his t-shirt. I am a strong man in my prime. I'll fight 7 at a time. Then he went to the bakery, and he bought himself some fresh chocolate glazed cream puffs, and he headed home in a great mood. The little tailor was walking down the road, nibbling at his pastry. Then, boom! He met a giant. The giant read what was written on the little tailor's t-shirt and looked surprised. What do you mean, you'll fight 7 at a time? The giant got very curious, so he said to the little tailor, If you are so brave, let's have a contest to see who is mightier. If you win, then I promise to tell you a giant secret. But if I turn out to be stronger, then you'll be in giant trouble. The giant looked around and found a huge rock on the road. He picked it up and broke it right in two. The little tailor was so surprised that he dropped his last cream puff. You see how strong I am, said the giant. Now it's your turn. The little tailor knew exactly what to do. He picked up the cream puff. He dropped it forward as it was a heavy rock and squeezed it so hard that the cream came out and it hit the giant in the nose. The giant was shocked. He'd never met a human before who could squeeze cream from a rock single-handedly. He must really be the strongest man ever and the cream of the human crop. So now the giant had to tell the little tailor a very scary, gigantic secret. On a high mountain, there grows a 100,000-year-old tree. If you climb high up into this tree, you will find a deep hole in the trunk. And at the very bottom of this deep and dark hole stands a huge refrigerator. And this refrigerator is full of ice cream, cream puffs, chocolate cakes, and cookies. But there is someone who guards this treasure, a dog with eyes as huge as bicycle wheels. And he is on the lookout for anyone who tries to come and eat those sweets. But don't be afraid of the dog, said the giant to the little tailor. Grab him and place him in my apron, and the dog will calm down right away. You can then bravely open the refrigerator and eat all the tasty sweets your heart desires. The little tailor was so happy that he would be able to eat sweets and not even pay for them. And so he went to climb in the tree. He found the hole and peeked inside. And it was just like the giant had said. There was a refrigerator and there was a dog with big eyes. Before the dog had a chance to do anything, he ended up on the apron. He sat there and watched through tears, and the little tailor went through his tasty treasures. And the little tailor acted like there was no tomorrow. He got inside the refrigerator, and all the dog could hear were crunching, munching noises. The little tailor gobbled up all the sweets. He didn't even leave a single crumb. Looking happy, he slammed the refrigerator door and went out the hole. But when he tried to get through, he realized his full belly was in the way. The little tailor had gotten so fat that he couldn't get out or go back in. He was stuck in the hole. So there he was, sticking out of the hole, and everyone laughed at him until he lost all that weight. That's what I'm telling you. It's not healthy to eat that many candies. Eating sweet things will make you out of shape.
So. Where could all of the cartoons be hiding? Let's start an investigation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's look for cartoons to pick. I will press this microphone. Masha and the